Hey everyone, welcome into the Ben Maynard program. Thanks for being here. A little housekeeping before we get started. As a reminder, this program is available on multiple podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, among others. Or you can just simply search the Ben Maynard program and it'll give you several options to choose from to listen. Choose one. I like to tell people to go to Buzzsprout. That's where my website is, and all the episodes are right there. Of course, if you can't resist this face right here, I sound horrible. I don't know why, but if you can't resist this face, then you can always watch it on YouTube. And if you do, please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Last but not least, you can follow me on Instagram, simply Ben Maynard Program. So there are a lot of ways to take in this program for your dancing and listening pleasure. And with that, let's recap the last episode. That was the one with my wife, Catherine. Now, that was just for fun. And she was a good sport about it. I dragged her in. I dragged her into the studio kicking and screaming. She did not want to do this. And she touched on it a little bit during the episode, saying that we're almost total opposites. And it's true. We are. And she does not like to talk about herself. Wait a second. Hold on. Let me get this right here. How could I forget to do this? Bam. Oh, yeah. For those of you listening at home or in your car, I had to turn the LED lights on around the logo. So she does not like to talk about herself. She's not one for the microphone, unlike yours truly. Not that she doesn't like this type of thing, but yeah, talking to a broad audience, that's really not for her. But so we just touched on a few things, kind of stayed around on the surface of our relationship. It was fun. I appreciated it. She hated every moment of it, but she was a good sport. And so I do appreciate it. She's great. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world. But yeah, I'll have her back on. She'll be back on the program. We'll maybe do a part two of us, and maybe we'll get a little more detailed, but we'll do that down the road. It's nothing of importance right now, but I wanted you, the audience, to know a little bit more about me and a little bit more about what happens or what's going on in my life and who I have in my corner with me. So appreciate you bearing with us on that episode. It was fun. Like I say, Catherine hated it, but it's a good one. So check it out. Okay, with that, I don't know whether to be mad or to be thrilled, and I'll get to it. I suppose this might be a little bit of a rant, but just a few days ago, Foreigner announced a tour next year, co-headline tour with Styx and special guest John Waite. So on the surface, when you look at that, you think to yourself, that's a great bill. And it is. It's a really good bill. Two great classic artists, bands going all the way back to the 70s. And they put out tons of music, tons of hits, songs that we all know, songs that I guess could define a generation as well. Just look, I could talk endlessly about both of those bands because they're just that good. And I admire what they have done. I admire what they are doing. Oh, wait. let me correct myself. I talked, I don't know, I guess it was a couple months ago. I did an episode about the Foreigner Farewell Tour and how I had seen a show with some friends, and it was a great show. Because it was about a year ago that Foreigner announced this farewell tour. This is it. We're done. And there was one show in my market. So I thought, well, this is it. I'm going to have to go see them. And I know that there are bands out there that play the farewell card and then they don't say goodbye. It's not really a farewell. But for whatever reason, well, no, I'll give you the reason. I believed it. I believed it because of an interview that Mick Jones gave on Trunk Nation. I think it was in 2016. And at that time, Mick was dealing with some health issues. And he is the older, or he's the oldest member in the band. Of course, he is the only original member still in the band, and it's his band now. But he's the oldest. He's I think he's right. He's right about 80. I could be wrong. You can fact check me, whatever you need to do. But if he's not 80, he is really close. And he's had some health issues over the years. And even back then in 2016, he told Eddie Trunk, Eddie asked him point blank, because of the health issues, Mick, and I'm paraphrasing, but he asked him point blank, Mick, when you are done, is Foreigner done? And Mick answered, yes, when I'm done, Foreigner is done. It's over with. I don't remember if he said, because what's the point? Something along those lines. I don't recall exactly. But so when the tour was announced last year, right about this time, actually, the farewell tour, I believed it. Like I said, one show in my market. I've got to go check it out. This is going to be my last time to see Foreigner. So I did. And as I stated previously, about a week after that show, Foreigner announces more dates. They announced a few dates. They called it a residency in Vegas. They announced a few dates. I believe they were last month in November, and then it was supposed to finish up in March of 2024. So I was a little irritated at that. And now, a few days ago, and let me put these readers on, a few days ago, lo and behold, there's a tour announced. And from Foreigner, it says 10 years is a long enough wait for two powerhouse and legendary classic rockers to hit the road together again. Yes, they have previously toured together. Okay, Styx and Foreigner. And then in parentheses, who continue with the next leg of their 2-year farewell tour. Okay, stop. That's where I draw the line, because there was no mention of this a year ago when they announced the farewell tour. The farewell tour. And now, after seeing them last year, and Kelly Hansen coming to the front of the stage and giving everybody this well, not sob, but giving everyone this big heartfelt speech about loving the fans and the longevity of the band and how great it is and how great it's been. And even he's admitted that he doesn't know how much longer he can sing these songs at the level that he sings, and he does a great job. So he goes on and on and on. I mean, it seemed like 5 minutes. Okay, well, I'm thinking he's sincere. Well, so what gives? What gives? Now, this is where I don't know whether to be angry or to be happy about it because, as I said, it's a great bill. It really is. I love Styx. I love Foreigner. And I dig John Waite. I've seen him once live before. Great performer. Still sings now like he did 30 years ago. So he hasn't lost anything in his voice. So it's a great bill. That is a great night of music. Are you kidding me? You're going to have opening the night, you're going to have John Waite, not only just with his solo music, but you're going to have all the classic Babies hits because nobody's going to perform them except him. So, I mean, come on. You have that. Then you're gonna have the co-headline. I have something on my screen here, so I'm sorry if you're watching this. Let me get it off. Boom, there it is. All right, we're good now. So you're gonna have, with it being a co-headline, in my estimation, and I can say pretty much with 100% certainty that Foreigner is gonna fill that middle slot, and both bands will get equal time, probably an hour 30, but Styx is going to close every show. And the reason why I can say that is because it's probably going to come down to who has more of the original members or the classic members in their band. And Styx still has 3 members from their classic lineup. You still have J.Y. Young. You still have Tommy Shaw, who sings like a bird. Man, and he doesn't age either. And you still have Chuck Panazzo on bass. Now, Chuck doesn't play the full show, but Chuck is still out there. Now, obviously, I don't travel with these guys. I don't see every show that they play, but I know Chuck is on the road with the band a lot. And he comes out for sometimes 3, sometimes 4, 5, 6 songs. So he's still out on the stage, still performs at the band, still does his thing. He's still a member of the band. If you see press, pictures, whatever, Chuck is there. So he's still a member of the band. So you have three members of their classic lineup. With Foreigner, you have 1 member of the original lineup, 1 original member, I should say. And then most of the time is not even there with the band, does not even come on stage and perform, not an encore, nothing. And that's in Mick Jones. So I guarantee you Styx is closing every night. But it's a great bill. It's a great bill. And I printed out a copy of this. And it looks like they have 36 dates starting June 11th in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and ending in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on August 28th. So 36 dates spread over 3 months. It's not an extensive tour. It does cover 3 months. But of course, these guys are a little bit older too, so they're going to want a breather now and again between some shows. But it's a great bill. So am I pissed or am I happy about it? There's one show in my market. And let me put these on again. I believe it's June 28th. That's a Friday night. It's in Anaheim. It's probably going to be at Honda Center, which is a great venue to see a show. Great venue. And really, that's kind of like the only Orange County venue here in California to see a show anymore. Arena size or amphitheater size. The one that I saw the show last year with Foreigner and Loverboy. They closed that one down, and they're gonna put condos on that property. So that's pretty sad. We were hoping that one would stick around, but it's not. So okay. So am I pissed or am I happy? Because it is a great bill. I don't know. I would go to this simply to see John Waite and Styx. I saw Styx 2 years ago when they were out co-headlining with REO Speedwagon, and Loverboy was the special guest. And they just knocked it out of the park. Great energy, great musicianship, great harmonies. As I said, Tommy Shaw still sings like a bird, and Lawrence Gowan does a great job with the Dennis DeYoung stuff. And I know for all of the purists out there, all the Styx purists, you wish, that Dennis DeYoung was that the guys Styx the band would work something out with Dennis DeYoung before it's just too late. And yeah, I do think that would be I think that would be great for nostalgia purposes. And Dennis still sings great as well. But look, they have their issues, and their issues are that's between them, and there's nothing that we're going to be able to do about it. That's stuff that they have to work out themselves. And from my understanding, it's pretty much JY that is really, really constantly putting the kibosh on this. And that's okay, because Styx still does a great job. So like I said, I would go just to see John Waite and Styx. Well, Foreigner's there, and I love those songs, and I love that band. I grew up with that band. And um, so yeah, I would go see it. But doggone it, when is enough enough? Enough with the farewell stuff. You're either going to call it quits or you're not. You're going to stay out there and play till you die on stage, or say we're calling it quits and do it. Stick to it. I'm sure, and maybe when Foreigner announced the farewell from last year, maybe they did mean it. But maybe that tour did really well, and I believe Live Nation is promoting this, or they're producing it anyway. Maybe Live Nation said, hey, you know what? We're going to make these guys an offer. We're going to put a bill together that just makes sense, and the money's going to be right, and we'll get these guys back on the road one more time. Silly. I don't know. It's just happened. The thing for us fans is that it's happened over and over and over again. I'll go back to, a lot of people complain about this one. A lot of people complain about this one and have complained about it for 20 something years. So in 2000, Kiss announces their farewell tour. And of course, we know that Kiss just wrapped up with their end of the road tour just a few days ago. But 23 years ago, they said, we're done. But, and I wasn't sure if I believed it then, but then I did hear Gene Simmons in an interview say that this is a farewell to the original lineup. So after sweating for a little bit, I wiped the sweat off my brow, said, phew. And I said, all right, well, that means my band is going to continue. And I was okay with that. I'm not I'm not an only original lineup guy. I love every era of Kiss, from certainly the original 4 through the non-makeup years, through the 90s, the first half of the 90s when they were still non-makeup, then they through the reunion era, through the last 20 years with Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer in the band. I love every era of the band. I don't even have a problem with the makeup, with Eric wearing Peter's makeup and Tommy wearing Ace's makeup. I don't have a problem with it. I understand. Look, it's business, and Gene and Paul run that show. And look, those 4 faces, the makeup, those 4 characters, you can show those at anywhere around the world, and people know who that is. And that's why they stuck with it. That's why they weren't going to be interested in trying to create new characters for Tommy, new character for Eric. It just wasn't going to happen. They're going to stick with what works, with what is recognizable. All right. So they Kiss announces farewell tour in 2000. Then they say, no, this is just the original lineup. Okay, great. Well, what was it? 5 years ago, um, I think it was 2018. They announced, "Oh, the end of the road. This is it. The end of the road. We're gonna go through the markets one time. It's done." Well, partway through the tour, yes, we all know the world shut down. So there was an interruption for a while, and then they picked it back up. And then they just kept adding show after show after show after show. And it's like, okay, well, doggone, how long is this road that we're trying to get to the end of? Um, so they finally wrapped up a few days ago. And I would say that I know they announced some kind of avatar thing. I don't know. I'm not really paying attention to it right now. I'll check it out when more information's available about it. But I would say that Kiss is on the clock. Now I know people say, or bands say when they do a farewell tour, we're saying farewell to touring. We're saying we're not going to tour anymore. Doesn't mean we won't do a show here or a show there, or we won't even do a Vegas residency. So that's the way they cheat their way around it. So Kiss is on the clock. We'll see. Even and going even further back than Kiss, I think it was 1992. Ozzy Osbourne did No More Tours. That was his farewell. He was giving it up. Well, if it wasn't for his poor health, um, Ozzy would be performing still. He tried to perform in October. He was scheduled to perform in October at what was it called? Power Trip. That's right, Power Trip in Indio, where they hold the Coachella festival. And but his health just wasn't going to allow it to happen. So he still wants to, but it was 30 years ago that he was saying I'm done. And then he continued to tour and tour and tour, tour after tour after tour for a good 20 years. Going back even further than that, I believe it was 1982, The Who did a farewell tour. And then 7 years later, reunion time. I remember seeing that tour at the LA Coliseum in 1989. So they didn't stay away. And then The Who is still out and running around the country. They're not currently on the road. And I apologize. I sound horrible, and I'm having a tough time getting these words out. but the Who, they're still out touring, not currently, but they are touring to this day. After saying goodbye, then of course more recently, um, you had Motley Crue, the contract. The contract. Okay. Really? So we're not touring anymore. It's legal. It's legal. We can be sued. We signed this contract. We can't tour anymore. Really? What are you going to sue yourselves? So, and they made a big deal of it. And people paid a lot of money on that tour for those shows, especially the last few shows that were in Los Angeles. People paid a lot of money for that. And yeah, it was what, 6 years later, 7 years later, when they did the stadium tour, they came back. Oh, because we just had to come back. We just had to. We couldn't stay away. Couldn't say no. Well, they couldn't say no to the money. And I'm not going to begrudge anybody for making money. I'm not. I'm not going to begrudge anybody for making money. You make as much money as you want to make. But don't do your fans like that. That's the problem. You tell them one thing, and it doesn't matter if it's 7 months or 7 years later, you guys change your mind and you come back. And it angered a lot of fans when they announced that stadium tour. It angered a lot of fans. I'm sure a lot of those fans still went. I'm sure a lot of them still went to the shows. They still put out the money because that's their band. And it was a good bill too. It really was. Uh, you know, so and after the stadium tour now, Motley is just they're co-headlining with the Def Leppard. They've been out with Def Leppard since. So, what is it about farewell tours? Another band just hit me right now. Just hit me. Deep Purple. Deep Purple is a great band, and they still do a great job to this day. And they've been prolific in this whole entire time. See, 8 years ago, they dubbed their tour the Long Goodbye. Well, they are still touring to this day. It's still the Long Goodbye. Well, how long is it? I don't know. But when does farewell actually mean farewell? That's what I want to know. And I am hoping that you out there want to know too. When does farewell mean farewell? When does goodbye mean goodbye? Please, someone answer that for me. And we love all these bands and we want them to stay out there, but please, just don't use the farewell card to get great numbers on your tour. And then you get the numbers that you're looking for, or maybe you even exceed those numbers and you say, well, let's just do it one more time. Let's just call it a 2-year farewell tour. That's what we'll call it. No, that's a bunch of hooey. I'm sorry. I don't accept it. I don't accept it. If you say goodbye, it's goodbye. If you say farewell, it's farewell. Adios. I love you. Everyone else loves you. And it's time to ride off in the sunset. I mean, come on. Who are we kidding here? So I don't know. I just, I really had no plans in doing this, in coming up here and hitting record and screaming into the microphone and getting upset. But it hit me today, and I said, you know what? I just have to get it off my chest because I know if I feel this way, a lot of you out there feel the same way. And I'm sure a lot of you are ambivalent on this. Do I go because I love these bands? Or do I not go in protest because they already said goodbye? And you know what? Up yours. I'm not going to give you any more money because you told me you were going away last year. So I see both sides of it. And I understand if you go. I do. I understand if you don't go. And as I said, it's a really good bill. And I'm probably going to be one of those suckers that pays for his ticket and goes to that show. So, exactly. That makes me the sucker. Lick me all over because I'm a sucker, because I take the bait. And then what happens when this tour is over? Because it ends in August. And the first week of September, Foreigner announces, oh, we're going to do some more shows in Vegas, or we're going to do a show here or a show there, or we're going to be on this cruise or that cruise, whatever it is. What happens then? Then we're going to feel like even larger suckers. I don't know. I guess this is just what we do for the bands that we love. Um, this is what a music lover goes through, right? Do you agree? Anyway, look, we got some good stuff coming up. Got a really fun show that we're recording tomorrow, and a couple of really fun shows next week as well. So just stay tuned for that. I'm hoping we'll get some stuff on Instagram. I got to whip my social media team into shape and get some stuff out there on Instagram. Maybe get some stuff on Facebook and just kind of let you know what's happening coming up. But yeah, some good shows coming up. I appreciate you being patient with me here, listening to me go off. I just kind of needed to get off my chest, and you're my outlet. So thank you so much for listening. With that, um, again, this program is available on multiple podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, among others. Search the Ben Maynard program, choose one of your options. If you're viewing it on Facebook, subscribe to the channel, please. I would greatly subscribe it. I could use the subscribers. Give me a thumbs up. Come on, give me a thumbs up. And maybe I got you going on this one too. So maybe you'll be inspired to leave a comment, good or bad. Last but not least, follow me on Instagram, Ben Maynard Program. And with that, people, thank you so much for tuning in. This is a wrap, and this is the Ben Maynard Program. Tell a friend.